we ran into a bug where if you wanted to reset your skeleton and there was no actual motion on the bones of that skeleton, the animation would not export. I fixed it. This has actually been problematic for a while, but I thought that we had some features in here that would prevent that from happening. And in fact we do, but it's not exactly intuitive. It's logical, but that's not good enough. So behind the scenes, I fixed it when a certain combination of events occurs. For instance, there's no motion on the bones, but there are keys. I want to make sure I export those keys so that you get everything that you're expecting. In order for that to happen, you have to tell BentoBuddy that you want to preserve the keys. In order to do that, your animation has to be exported with certain features. One of those features is use source keys, and the other two is rotation and location keys. You can choose which ones to export. If you have rotation keys on the bones but you have no location keys, you're going to produce an error because it's going to just look for location keys and vice versa. So you probably want them both unless you're testing something or doing a quick elimination for your own debugging. But for the source rig, the source rig is the rig that contains the actual animation, the one that we're exporting from. Anyway, I'm just going to animate this into a non-motion, and I know the bones that I want to utilize and their wings, so I'm just going to isolate those. Show those rather, and I just want to set keys on shift click on these two base wing bones, and we will do lock rot just for gigs and jiggles. And now I'll select let me select. I didn't set a key, I just chose the type. Now I set the key. Did I? Yeah, I guess I did. Maybe not on both, I don't know. And what I'm going to do is go to frame 3. Now I think you can do frame 2, but I had some trouble earlier, I'm not sure. So if you experience issues with frame 2, go to frame 3. Now you can do this through a larger spread, but you only need 2 real frames of data to produce a motion or a non-motion. And all we want to do is reset these 2 bones. And you don't want to do the whole rig, you just want to reset these 2 bones. But you can do the whole rig if you want to. So I'm going to just do these 2 bones, move them over, and select them so that I can key them. And I also want to rotate them a little bit just for some fun. So let's just bring those down, and actually I'll do that on I'll just redo these 2 keys, that's all. The one for that, shift click, and the one for that. I'll just redo those 2 keys, that's all. So now you see that you do have a transition there because you have a frame, but really all you need is the 2 frames. So let's say if I just move this over, you should be able to can I choose that? Yeah, you should be able to export just fine. But just for the sake of making sure this works, let's just put it on 3 because I know that will work. And if there's a problem, let me know and I'll dig into that another time. But anyway, I did a wrong thing here. This was supposed to be an animation to deform the rig, and then a separate animation to reset it. So you know what? I am going to export this to deform it, since I've already done it and I wasn't supposed to. But I want to deform it slow just because it looks fun. So let's deform it slow over a couple of seconds. All right. And we'll just export that, and we'll acquire, and it will acquire the timeline, and 24 frames per second is fine. We don't want to loop this. We just want the bones to be deformed, and we want them to stick, and we want the animation to end. So we'll turn off source keys. We don't need it because the bones are animated. We're not expecting frozen keys, but we could do that if we want. Export animation, and we'll do just our regular animation thing. Now I'm going to remove these keys and do this again the right way, and so delete the keys. I hit all, by the way. While your cursor is out over here, you can hit, if you hit it twice now in the new Blender, it'll deselect. Hit it once and it selects, and then delete key and delete keyframes. Now we have an animation container on this. Oh, I guess I'm wrong. It's just not going to show it. There is actually an animation container on it, but it's not going to show it with no keys in it, apparently. And we're going to put keys in it right now. So now we have an animation data. And we don't want to do anything to that. We just want a means to export an animation that has no motion in it, and that's what we're doing. And we're going to give this a different name here. And I'll just do that by selecting it on export. But in order to export non-motion, I need to use source keys, and I'll show you what happens if we don't do that. Deformer, yeah, may as well choose that one. Alright, no detectable animation, big failed, so use the source keys, and we should be fine now. Alright, so it exported non-motion, but it did place these keys in the file. Let's go pull in those two animations and see how this works. You can see I've done a little bit here already, but we're going to do this over again. And let's just use the bulk importer. Let's see, bulk, yeah. We know that we have, now I can't see it. Never mind, one at a time. We'll do this one that we know, and we'll just play it. What do we get here? We get our arms. Now, our arms aren't going to go back in position because Second Life does not provide a background animation for the new bones that were produced as a result of the Bento project. So they stick, and that will confuse some people. Let's go get the deformer one, and this should reset our bones. And there we go. Bug is fixed. Thank you.